Well, you can't argue against that. They've won the last 10 Premier League games. They've won the League Cup final, through to the last 8 of the Champions League, and then the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So they're going great guns. You look at the players they've brought in. Diaz looks superb. The strength in their squad is excellent now. They've massively improved on that since they had a really difficult season a couple of years ago. And they'll be feeling confident, but they've still got to go to the Etihad and take some points, at least 1 point. Because I think if they lose that game, they'll be out of it. And they've got to win the rest of the games. And we all know what Jurgen said last night, that he does believe that they'll drop points before the end of the season in the Premier League, which will probably open the door to Manchester City retaining the title once again.
He likes being the chaser, doesn't he? He likes chasing. He doesn't like being chased, but he likes being the chaser.
In normal circumstances, but when you've got to go to the Etihad, and we've seen when Manchester United went to the Etihad, it was the catalyst that they needed just to spark them into a little bit of life, and they absolutely wiped the floor with Manchester United. I'll expect the same kind of reaction in April when Liverpool go there, but it'll be a ding-dong of a game, and I'm really looking
Liverpool,
forward to it.
Tragically for Man City, aren't Manchester United, so it'll be a different dynamic entirely. You have to compare and contrast, and my favourite expression. Liverpool went through a period where the points gap widened because they drew a few games and they lost a couple of games. City have done exactly the same thing. In the last 8 games, Liverpool won all 8 games and City have drawn 2 and lost 1, and hence the reason why the gap has been bridged. It's unreasonable or unrealistic to think that everyone's going to continue. Liverpool aren't going to continue to win every single game, and they might come up short tonight. And all of a sudden, the discussion about how Man City dropped the ball by drawing at home away to Crystal Palace might be not taken advantage of by Arsenal beating Liverpool.
You fancy Arsenal tonight?
Well, you can't rule them out. I mean, Liverpool are a better side than Arsenal, hence the reasons why they're second in the league. But Arsenal are in a great vein of form. There's a hell of a lot of belief. There will be expectation of Arsenal to compete in this game, and I wouldn't put it past it to become an outcome similar to the result that happened at Selhurst Park, i.e. a draw, which doesn't advantage Liverpool any more than it disadvantaged Man City for their result.
Well, listen, they've won the last 5, Arsenal, in the Premier League. They've been playing. I'm not going to give you the teams, but stop getting clever. But what I would say is the last time I feel they had a really difficult game was against Manchester City. And when you're right in it, you've got to be comfortably uncomfortable. And they lost their heads. This will be a test tonight because Liverpool will get around them at the Emirates Stadium. They'll get in their faces because they know they've got a history of losing the heads. Because that's how basically Manchester City won that game. They changed their tact and they started getting physical with the Arsenal players. It became one of them games where it was a bit etchy, and Arsenal lost their heads. They've got to keep their heads against Liverpool when it gets tough tonight. If they do that,
turned up the temperature a little bit by what he said in the last couple of days, in which he actually called for greater protection for Mohamed Salah as the forward sort of prepared to dull the pain of his foot injury to play in Liverpool's game tonight. He's only got 16 fouls in the league so far this season. There's 40 forwards that have secured more, and he's not happy about it. Yeah,
listen, I'm not sure. I think I'd go as far as saying Salah has evolved his game. I think the way that you play as you get older, what is he, 29 now? As you get older, you don't want them massive contacts. So you kind of play a little bit more ahead of the game. So when the ball's coming in, so if you see a challenge coming in, you'll either throw it around the corner first time, you'll play it back to where the balls came, and you kind of avoid a lot of them situations. It's like me playing in a charity game now. I'll play against a player who'll think,
Sunday the 3rd of April.
On Sunday the 3rd of April, playing for Manchester Remembers. I'll play against a player who'll be faster than me, fitter than me, younger than me, but he won't get anywhere near me because I'll play ahead of it. And I think that's what Mo Salah's doing at the moment. He's playing a little bit ahead, and he's not getting
Crookie's playing the last 10 minutes of the game.
Keep him away from me because that is like the QE2. He won't be able to turn around.
Cook.
But just going back to Arsenal, I do feel they've made massive gains under Arteta. He's been given the time. He's needed it to get this kind of team together. I think there's certain players within that group that have really done really well and improving massively in the Premier League. Odegaard being one of them. Saka, we know what he brings to the table week in, week out. So I'm intrigued to see how this game goes, but one of the main things is for the Arsenal players to keep their head. And you're looking at Xhaka, you're looking at Gabriel, players in the past who've let them down. Be grown up and play like a man and take responsibility. If they do that, I think they've got a chance against Liverpool.
I have a bit of a gauge as to whether or not I think Arsenal are going to have a good or bad day, and it's just how animated Mikel Arteta is from the minute that the whistle blows when he's on the touchline, because he does love to stray miles outside his technical area. Has he got a responsibility as well to stay cool-headed?
look, you've got a responsibility to communicate the way you feel best to emphasise the opportunity on your team. There could be arguments made that when he went to Anfield and he got in front of Klopp and got involved in a conversation there, that it actually...
Is that what you call that, a conversation? I was just watching it on the monitor. That was
yeah, I mean,
lively.
look, I mean, Klopp can run on a pitch after Liverpool beat Everton in the last minute and create situations there. All managers have an obligation to behave appropriately. But the bottom line is I don't think the emotivity of a manager really determines the outcome of a football game. I think the emotivity of the players and what they're prepared to do on the pitch determines it. So a lot will be made of it, and a lot will be made of his body language. But I think it's nice to see Arsenal in a conversation where we haven't got to listen to that ghastly, horrible little mob, Arsenal Fan TV, deriding their own football club, because Arsenal are going in the right direction. Their club is moving towards a level of return to their fans, enjoying what they're watching.
And you, like me, are a bit surprised by that, aren't you?
I'm surprised. No, I'm not surprised, because my first perception of Arteta was that he had the juice. Then I became worried that he didn't know whether it was Arthur or Martha, and he was beginning to bend and breeze and not really be definite. And then, of course, we came back from the mid-season break or the early season break, international break, with games that he had to win because he was under real pressure. And from there, I think he's grown. I then moved into the territory of this guy's all theory. And then I began to look at him when he started to make very definite decisions. And I think the most key specific decision he made, which was definite leadership, was over the situation with Aubameyang.
But it's time to win a big game now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could argue that people were putting out a parade in the bunting for Wolves 3 weeks ago, and Arsenal beat Wolves. Mm-hmm. These are not Manchester United, these are not Liverpool, and these are not Chelsea and Man City arguments, but they're still very good sides that Arsenal have come up against. So I think tonight will tell you exactly how far Arsenal's progress is to be a realistic top four side, and the way that there will be a realistic top four side is to continue playing the way they're playing, and it won't be defined by winning or losing against Liverpool tonight because they've got games in hand, but it will give you a barometer of where Arsenal are.
Little indicator.
You know what Trevor's doing after he leaves us today?
I don't know.
He's going up to Cheltenham,
which
is a bit of a worry for Cheltenham.
Did you say Alex Cook is playing in a football match?
Yes, he's playing the last 10 minutes of that charity game.
My God, Alex Cook is the sort of person, wherever you sit in the room, he's sitting next to you.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.